Hello, and welcome to our beginner's guide for Omega Strikers. With Omega Strikers dropping tomorrow, a lot of new players will likely be coming into the game. The open beta lasted for a few months, and during that time, we climbed to the top of the leaderboards as a goalie forward duo. With this, we've accumulated a lot of different knowledge on the fundamentals of each role.
The game has changed a lot since the beta, with the addition of goalie gates, a complete overhaul to the perk system, and new maps and characters. So we'll be highlighting some of the more basic tips for newer players, and working our way to more advanced tips later on. We'll be creating more in-depth guides for both the goalie and forward positions once the game officially drops, so if you're looking to improve, make sure to subscribe. Here are 5 tips from Omega ranked players. Our first tip is thankfully the simplest, switching from MOBA style controls to using WASD. A lot of players argue which style is better, and while you may find one method more comfortable than the other, there is an inherent benefit to using WASD that MOBA just can't match. We're talking about moving and shooting in 2 different directions at the same time. Even top-level League of Legends players like LoLJSS eventually made the switch to WASD due to the advantage it provides. Let's look at this clip. The Era player is running in the same direction as the core. The movement style they're using determines their ability to strike away from themselves. With WASD, they can continue their movement while striking away, but with MOBA they have to move their mouse across their body, not only increasing the time it takes to react, but increasing the potential for error. In this scenario, this resulted in a goal on our own net.
The mistake a lot of new players are going to make is running to whatever spot the ball is directly going to, rather than anticipating where the ball will go. If you know you aren't going to be the next contact for the ball, you should always be looking to position yourself to receive or intercept that ball, instead of just running directly at it. I'm sure this sounds like basic knowledge, but when you're new at the game and in these heated moments, you may find yourself just running at the ball. When your teammate has the ball, position yourself in a way that doesn't put a blocker between them and yourself. That way you can receive their passes safely. And vice versa, when the enemy team has control of the ball, it's just as important to position yourself to block any potential passes they may want to send out. This limits their offensive options and makes defense for your goalie a lot easier.
All abilities in the game can be used for one of the following: damage or pressure, scoring, stalling, and repositioning. Brawler characters have their abilities geared towards doing damage and multi-hits while knocking enemies back. Sniper characters have their abilities geared towards being able to assist in scoring from afar or keeping the ball in the enemy's half of the field. Controller characters use long-lasting abilities to set up attacks and defense while they maintain presence elsewhere. While each character has a class and playstyle, it's important to be flexible in how you play to best assist the team. For example, if you're playing Estelle, your goal is to score while staying back. But if your other forward is an X, who doesn't have a lot of options to set you up for those goals, you can shift your focus to putting damage on the enemy forwards to make your X's job of KOing them that much easier. As a goalie main, I've noticed my greatest improvement came from my ability to predict what ability is going to be used on the core next. Here, the enemy Asher is putting pressure on the net after a pass from Juno. By anticipating her primary ability, Arc Beam, I could have passed directly down and bounced off the angled wall to stop her attack. Instead, by trying to pass through her, I've allowed her to use said ability effectively and score. Understanding what each character does and when they might do it will come with experience, but training yourself to have that thought at the forefront of your mind is the key to learning. Have a checklist going at all times. Who am I playing against? What abilities do those characters have? And will they use them to sneak goals in from afar or jam them in if I'm not careful? You'll never be able to react to every goal attempt, but you'll be able to prepare for them.
Using the wall to extend the amount of options you have is a key skill for forwards to have. Although a direct pass may not be available, using the wall can open up further passing options or scoring opportunities. The wall can be used to also make a self-pass in what can be referred to as dribbling. Dribbling can allow for a quick reposition, an additional second or two for one of your key scoring abilities, or even to fake out the enemy team. Being unpredictable is one of the core concepts to many PvP games, and Omega Strikers is no exception. In this clip, we can see the ball is passed by the goalie to the era using a wall bounce. Once the ball is on era, the enemy goalie starts to position to block a potential goal attempt towards the bottom part of the goal. But the era is quite far from the goal. Attempting to score here from this distance would give the goalie plenty of time to react. Instead, the era dribbles the ball. The enemy goalie then starts positioning closer to where the ball is hit, while the era closes the distance between herself and the goal. In the end, the enemy goalie panics a bit and goes for a 50-50 block, but ends up losing. The ability to win strike wars is an important skill for any player to have. Whether you're a forward or a goalie, recognizing which direction the core is heading in and timing your strike and abilities to ensure it either continues in that direction or is redirected where it needs to be is a vital part in maintaining control of the field. This comes down to positioning and hitting the ball at the last possible second. That's it for this guide. If you found the guide useful, give it a thumbs up and let us know if you want a forward or goalie specific guide for our next video. We'll also be streaming our grind back to Omega, so check out the description to stop by and say hi.